welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
I'm a little hungover. I usually say I don't get hungover, but Sam doesn't usually drink, but she wanted to tie one off last night. We had some people over and had a good time. Now I'm paying for it a little bit, and I got to take kids to a water park. But,
oh, dude, that's the best thing to do when you're hungover. Loud noises, movement. It's great.
I'm not that high. Like, me hungover is like, a little tired. Maybe dehydrated.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, we don't have Christian here today, and we don't have Days. I can't remember what Christian said he was doing, and I'm assuming Days is out having some adventure.
Yeah, something in the outdoors for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either that or playing an indie game of some sort.
Well, on the episodes that she's not here, you can usually check the Discord in the real life section, and she's usually posting pictures of whatever she's up to there.
Is PAX still going on?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Doing.
Christian's at PAX. Yeah. So hopefully he'll have some fun stories he can share with us when he comes back.
Yeah, for sure.
I've never been to a PAX.
I was so heartbroken. I always remembered PAX South existed, and I was like, oh, cool. Now that I live in San Antonio, PAX South is at home in San Antonio. So
I didn't know there was a South one. So they have an East, a West, and a South, but no North.
No North. Yeah.
Okay.
They should have that one in Canada, but PAX South was canceled in 2021, and they'll never have another one again, apparently. Due to COVID numbers and attendance after that, it just never gained steam again.
Wow.
And
just in time for you to come.
I know. It's fucking worst. I looked up previous PAX stuff and things like that. What's so cool about it is it's not just video games, it's also tabletop games and merch and collectibles and things like that. So it's a legit con. So I'll probably have to go to PAX West or PAX East now that I'm in the middle of the country.
Isn't QuakeCon down by you?
I think Texas, so.
Right?
They do a lot of dream hacks out there too. I think in Austin.
Yeah, I'm an hour away from Austin, so that's definitely achievable.
But where's QuakeCon, Bobby?
Well, it changes, but usually Dallas.
Oh, okay. I don't know how far you are from Dallas.
4 hours, but I have family out there.
Yeah, it's Texas. How far could it be?
Yeah. QuakeCon is at Gaylord Texan Resort and Convention Center, which is near Dallas. Yeah, that's what it is in 2023. So I might be going to that.
We're here in Chula Vista, about 15 minutes from me. They're doing a Gaylord Convention Center, hotel, and a resort. It's huge, big, $10 billion job. It's going on.
Are you working on that as well or no?
No, I wanted to, dude. To work 10 minutes from your job in construction is unheard of, because you're always moving to the next thing, wherever that might be. It's usually not in your favor, but that would have been great.
Well,
all right.
You get the intro, Bobby. How about that? I was going to come up with some shit, and it sounds like you had something lined up.
No, I was just going to move us on to On the Radar, but if you guys still want to talk about something, that's perfectly fine.
No, I was going to say, what's not actually working is us playing video games, because that's not work. That's fun times.
Okay,
so
you were going to do a segue. No,
that's what I was saying. What I was saying is mine was not going to work, and yours was.
Dude, I don't even try, man. I just said, and onto the radar. Okay. So these are games that have come to our attention recently. I'm going to kick it off with Trine 5, which I didn't even realize had come out. It was released quite recently here. When was the release date? August 31st. So just released. It's funny to me that Trine has kind of become its own little game that not very many people pay attention to. It's rather niche at this point. The first one came out in 2009, I think. Is that right? Is it that long ago?
Yeah, it's pretty old. Yeah, I had a cousin who lost his life to this game, essentially. We didn't see him for a while.
I don't know how you do that. I mean, you beat it in 5 hours, but I don't know.
A lot of unlocking things that you can go back for.
He was achievement, chasing and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody played Trine 1, and I think Trine 2 as well. And then everyone stopped playing Trine 3 because that's when they switched to 3D, which nobody liked. And also, I think there were some development problems. A lot of people said the game wasn't finished. It was the first one to do early access, so there was some weirdness on Trine 3. And then I guess not everyone came back for Trine 4. I didn't, apparently. That's the one I don't own and have not played. And now Trine 5 is out, and nobody even realized it. It's got 200 reviews on its Steam page. But it looks good. It looks like they're sticking with what works. It's got the 3 playable characters. It is 2D or 2.5D. One thing that's new that someone mentioned in the reviews is that you can customize your characters, which I don't know. I guess that seems cool. But I've always liked the Trine games. I always thought they looked fantastic. The second one I played in 3D when I had that NVIDIA 3D glasses monitor set up, and it looked fantastic. But the game looks great anyway.
They always make the backgrounds look like there's a story going on in the background a lot of times. Just crazy, beautiful stuff. And yeah, they lost some of it. They lost some things when they went to 3D, and they gained some things. So they added motion in the backgrounds and things going on visibly. But yeah,
it's always looked great.
The beauty.
I think this 5th one looks fantastic as well, but I also like the gameplay of these games. I just like the puzzle solving. It's not incredibly difficult. It's a lot of like shapes and platforming puzzles. So I want to check this out, but then I also realized that I haven't even touched Trine 4. Apparently I have access to it under Emilio's accounts, and you
nice.
played it, right? I feel like you talked about it.
And I remember when we were playing together, and then we're like, oh, this is how you pass this one part. And then I asked you, like, how would I have done that if I was playing single player? And we couldn't come up with it. And then we figured out probably the game changes slightly, like puts things further away. Even the map changes a little bit when you're playing multiplayer, because it would just be too easy if you just played the single player game with multiple characters. You know what I'm saying?
Because in single player you can switch between the characters. But I think that was when we were playing Trine 2. I don't think I've ever played Trine 4.
Oh, I remember we played something rather recently, 3 years ago or something. Could have been we went back. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it's a great series.
And is this might be the first one with a subtitle too. It's Trine 5: A Clockwork Conspiracy.
Nice.
All right.
And the other thing too is there's no like set way to pass puzzles. Like a lot of games, there's only one way to solve the puzzle. And this, you can kind of just brute force your way through, even if you're too dumb to figure it out. Like with a wizard, you can make shapes, and then if you're making shapes, you can just kind of like, I don't know. One time I made myself a little catapult. I just launched myself across it. That was definitely not the way you were supposed to do it. But I just got frustrated. I was like, oh, I wonder if I make a teeter-totter is more what I made. It's just cool that a game allows you to do that crazy stuff.
What's funny is that what you're talking about right now is something that they introduced like 6 years ago in Breath of the Wild, or maybe even before that in another game. But Leslie would have trouble like in these Breath of the Wild physics puzzles and shit. And then I would show her these videos of people just absolutely doing like complete goblin mode, like debauchery, where they're launching themselves like 50 feet in the air and like completely bypassing this maze or something. And she's like, I can't believe I didn't fucking think of that. Or just doing all like just completely bypassing like 45 minutes worth of puzzles in like 3 seconds.
Isn't the newest one very engineering based?
Yeah, no, the newest one involves building your own machines and like attaching like parts to things and battery packs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
she's
I think
afraid to
there's
finish
a
the
subreddit
game.
called like Hyrule Engineering or something, and people are just making like airplanes and shit.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
no, people are making like death machines. They're also like literally crucifying these things called like Koroks, which are like these little seed people that are really annoying. And they're like putting them on top of crosses upside down that are like flaming. Like it gets real crazy.
Dude, the TTT on that, the time to torture, whenever you give like people like custom, like people on when they're playing The Sims. Like,
Oh yeah.
how long does it take?
How long does it take till they figure out how to torture
abuse
somebody?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Trine 5 is $30. Seems a little high, but I guess it's worth it. I'm also noticing from the video on the Steam page that 3 people are playing at the same time. I don't know if you were able to do that in the other Trines, but maybe in Trine 4. But yeah, $30 if you want to pick it up today.
Yeah, you're gonna buy it?
No, I'll probably start with Trine 4. Actually, I need to beat Trine 3. I'm like literally a half an hour away from beating Trine 3, and then I'm going to play Trine 4 off of your account probably. And then I'll get to Trine 5 when Trine 6 comes out.
Yeah, dude, my account is wide open, man. I have so little time.
Are we gonna get 3 reviews in 1 week? Are you telling me that you can probably beat all 3 Trine games in like 4 days?
Maybe. I wonder what the how long to
I think.
beat is.
Yeah, we'll see. You got,
Sanguine
Emilio?
Souls on our Discord. I put Cryptmaster on the radar. I put it here because it's something kind of unique and cool. So it's got this like black and white dark aesthetic. Looks like a first-person adventure. But you have this Cryptmaster who I guess acts kind of like a DM, and he's giving you prompts, asking like, "What are you gonna do here?" And you can respond into your microphone with your voice and say like hit or zap if you have like an electrical spell or things like that. So yeah, you could do it either way, but I think they're pushing for the voice thing, and they don't exactly say how. There's not a whole lot of information, but they're saying that spell casting is like pretty unique in this game. I think just based on the way that he said zap, I would imagine you have to figure out, you might get the item or the wand, then you probably have to figure out what the word is to get it to go off. Anyway,
apparently the reason why they're saying that spellcasting is unique is that not only do you do stuff with your voice, but you also have to type the nouns. So it's a typing game as well. Words are like jumbled up, and then you have to type the correct words. So it's a speech and typing game.
oh, I see.
That's interesting.
But definitely looks original. I haven't seen anything like this, and the aesthetic looks like hand drawn ink on paper. That's what it looks like to me. Highly detailed. Looks good.
It almost looks a
Won't
little bit
know
like
until
Darkest
it comes
Dungeon,
out.
though.
When people try something new, could go either way. I mean, most games could go either way, but yeah, this is cool.
So is it like those text-based adventures from way back in the day where you just like, it'd say like you're standing in this area, there's a forest over there, and then you would just type something in to do something?
I don't think so, because you can, well, yes, at a certain point when you hit a block, I think you can freely roam, and then you get up to something, and then at that point, when you reach a, what do you call it? A impasse, something you can't pass, then you have to figure out whatever it is. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's like walk over to the tree. You don't have to type that out.
Yeah, not totally like Zork.
Yeah.
God, dude, this brought up like a weird memory. When I was in 5th grade, we'd go to the computer lab every Friday, a bunch of Apple IIs, and we'd play like Word Muncher, Oregon Trail, whatever. But a friend of mine and the teacher noticed we were like really into computers. So he showed us Zork, which, if you're not familiar with that game, it's a text-based adventure. You start out and it says like you're standing in a field, there's a house over there, and you type in walk to the house. And then it kind of blew our minds that you could just like type in anything in there. And there might have been another one other than Zork. But one day, so my friend John, you could name your character, and he called it like my dick or your dick or something like that. And so like we're playing this text adventure game and we're just laughing because it was like your dick picks up a sword, and we're laughing too much, and it attracts the teacher's attention. And then when the teacher walks over, John just puts his hand up against the screen to cover it. Like that doesn't look guilty.
That's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, and the teacher's just like, all right, what's going on? And John lowers his hand, and he looks at it, and he just like looks at us like, oh, you guys are in trouble.
He doesn't laugh though? Oh man.
I mean, he probably did, but yeah. I don't know. All right, one more quick story about the computer lab. When I was in second grade and we went to the computer lab, I figured out that I could get my teacher's attention faster because I would raise my hand and like she wouldn't like notice me and my hand would be up there forever and I'd be like, come on. And then I noticed one day, like if I snapped, got her attention real quick. Oh my God. Yeah. And like one time, I think she like let it slide the first time. And then like the second time, like she like stomped at me and I was like, oh boy, I'm in trouble. And then she like laid into me and explained to me why that was not appropriate.
This was like fifth grade, I think. And I was reading in front of the class and the word was organism, but I said orgasm.
Oh my God.
And I guess it fit the context of whatever I was reading. This teacher was crying, laughing, dude. Like, totally, she could not stop, dude. It stopped the class. She was crying from both tears, and she's laughing. She's slamming the thing, and we're looking around at each other like, because nobody knew what it was. We're like, what is going on?
What does that mean?
And so, for the rest of the week, we were trying to get her to give us the definition, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, nowadays fifth graders might know that with the internet.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, no, now they know everything by then.
All right, so that was Cryptmaster.
It was pretty cool looking game. Do you know that Space Marine 2 is being developed by the guys that made World War Z, like the newest one?
Really? I like that game, World War Z.
So when I was watching the newest trailer that came out last week, they were like, yeah, the World War Z engine is, great for the Tyranids because it puts thousands of models on the screen at once and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, they are the same people.
Focus Interactive or Saber Interactive?
Yeah. And yeah, it uses the same engine. And so this past weekend, people were like, oh, it's another trailer for Space Marine. Like, we just want the release date announced. And they were like, all right, we don't have a release date, but we have something else to show you guys. So then the first Space Marine game, it was Space Marines versus Orcs. And at the time when that was released, Space Marines and the Orcs were getting a bunch of models at the same time. Right now, the Space Marines and the Tyranids are getting a bunch of models.
Because of the game.
Because of the game, right? Now, in the first game, there was a second enemy faction, and that was Chaos Space Marines. Now, there's a second faction being revealed, a second enemy faction being revealed for Space Marine 2, and that is the Thousand Suns. So it goes from a horde shooter to like a cover-based shooter, like almost like Gears of War.
The Thousand Suns are other Space Marines, right?
Yes, they're evil Space Marines that are like dust inside suits of armor, and they're very magic focused. They fly around on like these bladed discs and stuff, and they shoot lightning and turn people into spaghetti. But it's very interesting in the sense of like it changes the game up entirely. Like I said, like you go from a hack and slash shooter, like almost like a Dynasty Warriors level game, to like a cover shooter. It's like Gears of War. So a lot of people are super hyped about that. I mean, that's the faction I literally have hundreds of dollars worth of models in. So obviously I'm excited.
The
release,
the game fresh too,
Exactly. And then they showed like the new area, like where you're going to be seeing them. And usually in Warhammer games, you're either fighting against Nurgle, which is like zombies essentially, or you're fighting against Khorne, which is like demons of hell. And that's it. You never see Tzeentch stuff. And so it's either like brimstone and fire or like disease and pimples. But Tzeentch is all about like magic and like trickery and like floating islands and like distortion. And it is a super pretty environment. Like the way, like everything's sideways and vertical. Things are like yeah, exactly. Everything's like Inception. So it's pretty cool looking. They did announce that the release date is most likely going to be November, but they just said late 2023, but everyone thinks it's going to be November 17th. So we'll see.
Cool. Yeah. At least we're not getting bad news. At least we're getting good news,
Yeah, exactly. The last thing they have to show is competitive multiplayer, but that's it.
God, it seems like
Multiplayer. Did the first one have first one didn't have multiplayer, did it?
Yeah, it did. It had it was added in with free LC.
Oh,
It was
okay.
3-on-3 or 5v5, and then you could choose what chapter you wanted to be. But it wasn't very like in depth. You know, there was like I think like 6 or 7 guns and like a couple of different melee weapons, and that's it.
Did you play it?
No, not at all. It was you're talking about years after the DLC came out.
Yeah, well, the Steam page still lists it as only single player.
You can look up Space Marine.
Yeah, maybe it's
multiplayer.
there's like a million DLC here, so I'm guessing it's one of those.
Space Marine features online multiplayer with gameplay. Yeah, with the DLC. I'm trying to. It's 4.
Oh, wait,
it's
no,
up to 4 players.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Warhammer 40K Space Marine, right? Anniversary edition. Yeah. Okay. This is actually a bundle, not DLC, but maybe it's just not available on Steam.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting if more shit comes out of this game and actually does well. I'm foreseeing probably like an 85 on this game, most likely. It's going to be like an Armored Core.
What's your guess, huh?
Yeah, there's no like 95, 100 Warhammer games ever, dude.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're hoping
They're okay with
hoping
the
it's
B.
85, man. That would be a smash hit.
We'll see.
I mean, I hope so too. I mean, I want all the good games we can get, but that's a lofty goal. I'm thinking 75.
You think 75? We'll see.
Yeah, but if they do have multiplayer, maybe you can play as the Thousand Suns. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, you're telling me my dream. Okay.
Yeah.
You're telling me my dream.
All right.
So
well, that's it for On the Radar. Let's move it on to highlights, games that we have played. Are we going to make it through 1 week without talking about Baldur's Gate?
we are. That was the official rule, is that when Amanda's not here, we will not talk about Baldur's Gate.
Okay. They'll get a break from it for 1 week. I dug up an old one, a classic, if you will, Antichamber. This game, I had forgotten the name of it, and I've been trying for weeks. Not like super hard, but like for the last couple of weeks, I'm just like, what was that puzzle game with the really cool graphic style, and it had pretty good puzzles, and it was like an indie game, and like I never beat it. Like I could not remember what it was called, and this has happened before, but usually with very old games. This one is not that old. It's 10 years old, which is kind of old. And it was pretty popular when it came out. Got good reviews. People liked it. But then, we all moved on and forgot about it. As I was searching for this game, I came across this site. It's this subreddit called Tip of My Joystick. Sounds kind of dirty, but it's a play on Tip of My Tongue, which is a real popular subreddit for people who can't remember things. They type in a description and, music, songs, movies, like just whatever, popular culture. And people on Reddit will help you figure out what that was that you can't remember.
There's also Tip of My Penis, and that's like if you can't find a porn star or a scene, they'll help you find that.
Okay, so apparently
Friend
this
told
is
me
much...
about that.
Apparently, this is quite the tip session.
Yeah, this has reached lots of facets here, but so they have one specifically dedicated to games, and
That's awesome.
This game was not on there, but I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, I didn't need to go to that length to find this game. What I ended up doing is searching my Steam library, and you can sort by categories now. So I've got, too many games in my Steam library, like 7,000 almost. It's a lot, and it's mostly crap. So what I did is I sorted it by puzzle, that genre, and that narrowed it down a little bit. And something told me this started with an A, like it's in the A's or something. And sure enough, after just a little bit of scrolling, I was able to find it. So I installed it, I played it, and
Hated it.
no, it's still good. But replaying a puzzle game is weird because once you solve the puzzle, you know the solution. It doesn't have much replay value unless enough time passes where it's new to you again. And this game seemed completely different than what I remember. The puzzles seem different. Like the graphics are about what I recall, but like I didn't have any recollection of this game at all. It seemed like playing. It was an entirely new experience for me, and I remember playing it and getting stuck, and then just not bothering to get any further in it. But this time, like I started playing and I got really far. Apparently, the first time I played it, I didn't even reach any of the guns. So they've got these portal-like guns that you use, and they do different things and interact with the environment in different ways. And you keep upgrading it. You get the blue one, then the green, then the yellow, then the red. I don't even think I got the first gun when I played the first time. So I made it a lot further in this game playing it now. I guess I must have played it back. You can grab these blocks and then you put the blocks in different areas to do things. You can use them to like hold open doors or activate switches. But then there's areas that remove all the blocks you have stored in your gun, like take away all your ammo. So, and the different guns can interact with the blocks in different ways. The puzzles are really good. This is a really impressive game, especially for a solo indie dev. So I'd recommend checking it out. It's not like super expensive at this point. Yeah, it's been on sale for $2. It's normally $20. I mean, you can find it pretty cheap out there. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's pretty short. I feel like I'm really close to beating it. The game tells you when you're halfway through, and I'm much further than that. And you can kind of tell because as you go through these, you find these little pictures and you click on them and they give you like a little hint. And when you go back to the start area, it shows all the pictures on the wall, and my wall is almost filled up. So I know I'm pretty close to the end. And it's got a nice function where if you get stuck on a puzzle, it's not linear. That's what's really cool about this. It's not like, this is nothing new with a lot of these 3D puzzle games, but if you get stuck, you just go to a different area and you try another puzzle, and it's designed that way. So like you have to unlock something over here, then you can progress further in this area. And you can at any time just hit escape and go back to the starting area. And then from the starting area, you can use the map to teleport to any of the puzzles. So it really cuts down on something that I find super annoying about puzzle games and games in general. Just, I don't like redoing things, especially if I fail and the game's like, well, now you've got to do all this over again just to get back to the point where you failed. And I don't have time for that. So yeah, it's a good game. I may try to finish it off this week just because I think I'm like super close. Just the completionist in me wants to just check that box. But it's good, man. Talos Principle, The Witness, those games are good too, but they're so long. They're just so long, and it's hard to like continue playing a puzzle game. Like those games really are good in small doses. So this one's in that sweet spot. Yeah, I mean Portal was like what 6-10 hours. The second one was pretty long, but. Yeah.
I ended up beating the second Portal in 2 chunks. I remember that because I was like, I played it and I was like, damn, I'm getting tired of this game, man. And then I was like, I'll come back to it later. And like 3 months later, I ended up coming back and then beating the rest of it. And then I ended up playing it like 3 years later after I met Leslie, and I forgot all the puzzles and then played it again. So
have you played it together, Nick, with her?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. I just said we played it together.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we did the whole thing together, which was awesome.
It's a great co-op puzzle game. I could probably, God, I haven't played that since 2011. I could play Portal 2 and it'd be a new experience too. It's the same with point and click adventures because there's a lot of puzzle solving in that. I've been waiting, like I've been waiting for enough time to pass so I can go back and play. Oh my God, what is that called? Apparently I can play it now because I can't even remember the name of the game. It's the one with Ransom the Clown, Thimbleweed Park, which I just thought was a fantastic point.
Ransom the Clown?
Yeah, there's a character called Ransom the Clown, and he's like uses a lot of profanity.
That sounds like a nightmare fuel.
Yeah. All right, so that was Antichamber. Great game.
Overwhelmingly positive with 12,000 reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, it was popular.
What's the fucking polar opposite is the reviews for. Oh wait, no. Actually, you're up next. I'm sorry. What's the reviews like Gloomhaven?
We don't have to go in order.
Yeah, but
all right. Let me go what I was about to say then, because the reviews for the newest DLC for Total War Warhammer 3 are in the toilet, dude. Like they are abysmal. It's mostly negative at 23%.
Wow.
They were on a roll. What did they do wrong?
So number one reason, price increase from 14.99 to 24.99. Right?
Yeah,
And you're like,
there's been
oh, they
fucking
must.
crazy inflation since the last one, man. Fucking
They,
calm down, everybody.
oh, here's the thing. All right, here's the thing. Let me explain the difference in quality in these updates. Right, the last DLC added a whole new faction and race of people, 33 new units, 4 legendary lords, and 3 legendary heroes, a bunch of new settlements, like 3 new in-game mechanics, and a bunch of other new shit. This new DLC added less than a third of that,
And it's more expensive.
and it's $10 more expensive.
Yeah.
It
It's
and
almost
so
double.
yeah, it like, and so people are like, this is insanity. And so I already bought it before everyone knew all the details about it, and I was like, fuck, I mean, I'm not gonna return it at this point. And I had to kind of like review it for the podcast. The game runs smoothly, right? And you want to know how I just wasted 15 hours of my life? So when playing the Total War Warhammer 2, I did every single achievement for beating the game on very hard or legendary difficulty with every single faction. So there's an achievement for every faction to do that. I was like, all right, time to start doing that for this game. I'll complete it in the next 2 years, probably, because each faction will probably take anywhere between 6 to 15 hours. I'm going to play my favorite faction. I'm going to do that one first and get it out of the way. I do the long victory, like condition, which is like what you're supposed to do, which is like take over 87 settlements, get rid of your rival factions. It took me like 14 hours, dude. 15 hours.
Uh-huh.
After that, no achievement.
Oh.
I was like,
You
what?
just assumed there was achievement?
No. There's an achievement. It's there. It says plainly and clearly, beat a single player campaign with this faction on very hard or legendary difficulty.
And it
Now,
just didn't trigger.
I go, all right, well, I'm angry because it's 1:30 in the morning and I just spent the last 3 days beating this, right?
Yeah.
So I go to the official Discord. I rage type 3 sentences and describe what's going on. And someone goes, oh, yeah, they changed the requirements and didn't put them on the public information board or on the Steam page at all.
Oh, boy.
You now have to do either an ultimate scenario or a domination victory. Now, a domination victory is taking over every settlement on the map, all 270 of them, which would take you like, I don't know, maybe 40 hours, 50 hours. And there's like, I think 20 factions. So, that's out of the picture. So apparently people have already weaseled their way in and figured out a way to like get this done. So you play either on very hard or legendary. You choose, there's 8 ultimate scenarios, and the ultimate scenarios are like the end of the world is happening. So like one of the factions becomes super strong and tries to take over the world. So it's either like the Skaven or the dwarves or like the undead people or whatever. Apparently the easiest one is the ones are like the Egyptians essentially. They all come out of one area, and on legendary, all the people that are around that area just beat the shit out of them like instantly. Like within 3 turns, the ultimate scenario is completely squashed. So all you have to do is the
settlements.
Is the settlements.
Yeah.
And so
Is it fun taking down these settlements?
I mean, yeah, no, the game is fun. I love the game. The game's great. The new shit is new and expensive and stupid, but the game itself is fun as fuck. It's still a little buggy in some places, but this game desperately needs a custodian team. Like, stop making new shit for like 6 months. Get a custodian team to fix bugs that have been around since the second game, and make the game better. That's it. It's not that hard. But but they know they can milk the IP for as much as they want because it's their number one selling game by far.
Yeah.
So
They're
we'll
just
see.
going about it wrong.
Yeah. But yeah. So now I'm testing out this theory on a new playthrough with a different faction on Legendary with that specific end game scenario gonna trigger and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna be upset again. And if it does work, I will be a happy boy.
Oh, so yeah, you can't pick up where you left off, right? Because it's not an end game scenario.
Yep. The end game scenario I got, because it's random unless you make it happen a specific way, is the Vermintide one. And then every single one of my cities had an undercity on them, which means all the rats are almost unbeatable when they fight me. So that sucks.
Yeah,
I was essentially defeated before I could even start fighting. So
it's funny because you're upset that you're having fun, but you're not having fun in the way that you want to.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm not having fun the way I want to have fun.
Yeah. God damn it.
Well, at least
I
you're
didn't play any
playing.
video games this week. I played a board game, but funny enough, it has a video game it's not a companion app. It's its own standalone game. It's the exact same name. So Gloomhaven is the game. It's a $150 board game. And
Jeez.
yeah, it was. There's this board game website I've been using. Board Game Geeks, I think it's called, and they have their own reviews and stuff. And it's one of these things where like it's really hard to get. Like it's impossible to get a 9, like out of 10. That they're very stringent. So like at the very top of the it was Gloomhaven for like a couple years. It just got dethroned by something called Brass. But these are really like intense games, very complex games. Not just like it's not Cuphead where you just pick up and play, which I think you should get your own. You should get some points for that as well. You know, just being able to just like easy to learn. Let's play in 5 minutes. Yeah. So this, I didn't want to pay $150 for it, but they came out with this like small version for $24, and I picked this thing up and I was like, how the fuck did they sell this for 24? They're taking a loss. I think they're taking a loss on it. Because you get so much shit. It weighs like 15 pounds, this box. It's like 2 shoe boxes size. And I was like, how are they selling? It doesn't make sense. Pop it open.
Like shipping alone has to.
Yeah, just the weight. Yeah. Maybe not 15, but it is like close to 10 pounds. And so you open it up and there's this like the video you're supposed to watch to learn how to play. This video, guys, it's in 5 parts for the first 5 scenarios.
Jesus.
And the
dude.
first video is 35 minutes long to teach you how to play scenario 1. And so, plus just the breaking down of all the, punching out all the little cards and putting everything in their bags takes like 30 minutes. So, and I'm not making a big like selling point, but it turns out this game's fucking awesome. Like once you get going, so, you set the board. And you only have to do that once. You fucking put everything in its slot. It's very well thought out. Everything is like, there's a place for everything, and then it'll just stay there. So once you do it once, the box shuts perfectly, and you take out all the trash you didn't need. So there's extra room in there, and everything's you can get going very quickly. So it's basically a tactical turn-based game. It's like very D&D-esque. But there's no role playing. It's all strategy, basically. It's all combat for the most part. All of the story is like maybe 2 paragraphs of reading before the event, and then 2 paragraphs of reading after. Like, this is what's going on. This is what happened, and here's your rewards. And then you level up your character, and you customize it too. Like you can switch out your abilities. It's kind of like card based. There's no dice in this game. There's no luck. There is luck because you have everybody has a deck, but you're modifying that. It's a deck builder, so little by little, very little. Like every level, you put new cards in your deck and take 2 out, and that's how you customize your character as you go. Plus, you can buy loot, like you know, gloves, pants, all that stuff, just like an RPG. It's basically Baldur's Gate and a tabletop, pretty much. Then you finish the first scenario. We finished it in like 10 minutes after all this build up, and then you have to watch another video for scenario 2, and it gets more and more complex. And I'm playing it with Sam, and she's really enjoying it. She's never played anything like this, so that's like really surprising to me. She's like, yeah, I don't want to do any story. I just want to fight and do the strategy. She's like, I like the strategy. I was like, all right, sweet. Like, this is perfect. So our board is set up and it's ready to go, and it's just there. And anytime we get like some time, we're gonna jump into it. But we're going into the third scenario, and it's like, how much more complex can this game get? And it keeps getting more complex, man. The third scenario is really introducing a lot of like different things. But yeah, there's like initiative. So you can kind of talk to each other. You can be like, like, I'm going to be really aggressive this turn, or I'm going to retreat. But you can't say specifics. You can't be like, I'm going to grab that dude and bring it over here. So you have these 2 cards, and you put them face down, and then you reveal your cards. The bad guy reveals their card, which is random, and then whoever has the lowest initiative goes first, and then you make the initiative order. It's really good. It's really good. And after all the outside stuff, it's pick up and play for the most part. Yeah.
So on BoardGameGeek.com, this game for complexity is rated 3.89 out of 5.
Yeah.
But to give you some comparison, Cuphead is rated 1.94 complexity.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that means
Because Bobby took fucking 4 hours to try to figure out how to play Cuphead one day.
No, dude, learning it wasn't that bad. Playing it right was the challenge, apparently.
yeah, we were playing it wrong, and then we found out after 2 hours we're like, dude, we've been playing it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, I was like, how the fuck are you guys on the 6th boss? I've never beat the second one. Like, you guys are doing something wrong over here.
Yeah, I remember that very clearly.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny is you talk about like the complexity and shit of like of Gloomhaven, right? I've heard so many people talk about that game, and I have friends that host D&D and like host board game night at their houses in California, and I've been to them for years, and they've played Gloomhaven. They're like, you'd love it. I'm like, no, because I don't have many people to play with and stuff like that. I ended up starting a new D&D campaign this past weekend, right, with 2 new players. Like, they've never played D&D before, but they just played Baldur's Gate, and this is their first like intro to Baldur's Gate, intro to like anything like that, right? Turn-based RPG, hardcore character builder, just essentially intro to D&D world, right?
Yeah.
So I'm making, and this is like, hey, this is your Listerine strip experience. If you like it, you can come back and keep playing with us for the rest of your life, because we play every Saturday at 8:00 my time, and you can join us, right? And so it's a couple. The dude's like, all right, we're in, we'll play. The girl's like, I don't know, right? We'll see, right? We'll see. An hour in, she's like, look, we have to convince the town people that we can do this, all right? These people are doing it this way. She's so invested in the fucking game. I'm like, dude, you guys just need to go kill some goblins. Like, this is just a sample thing. You're throwing that out of the water. You don't even know if you're going to play next week. You don't even know if you like it. She's like, we're playing next week. I'm like, all right, shit. All right, fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's dude, I love when you find a new board game or a new game or just a new system, and it really gets going. So I might have to check out the online version of Gloomhaven.
Yeah, the video game, the reviews aren't stellar. I think Jaws of the Lion. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I said that. So it's Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. That's the $25 version, and you can only get it at Target at that price. I think they have like an exclusivity deal. We ordered it online on Target.com and got it that way. So there's two video games. One's Jaws of the Lion, one's just Gloomhaven. I believe one's at 75%, one's at 80%, and I was like, I mean, Baldur's Gate exists. Why am I going to play this? You know.
It's funny. What might be decreasing those scores is the complexity. If it's exactly like the board game or something like that, it may be the complexity.
I mean, I'm making it sound. Once you're playing, it's not complex. It's like
There's a
learning
learning curve.
There's little symbols everywhere, and if you forget what a symbol does, you just look in the glossary and you're like, oh, this means this. You know, that's about it. But
Okay.
Every scenario gets more and more.
Well, it looks like on Steam you have to buy Gloomhaven, which is $35, and then Jaws of the Lion is a DLC for $18.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I would definitely, for anybody who can sit down and play a game and, you know, take a little time to watch some videos about how to play it, it's a very rewarding game. It has nothing to do with, like, you know, because this new game that's what's Brass in complexity, Bobby? It's the top game.
Brass? Let me look that one up.
That has to do with, like, cities of industry and fucking global economies and fucking all kinds of shit.
It's just called Brass?
I think so.
I see Brass Age, Brass Empire, Brass Birmingham.
It's rated #1. I don't know. Maybe I have the wrong name. Doesn't matter. But yeah,
Brass Monkey.
Highly recommend.
Have you ever heard of the longest board game to be played? And it takes over 6 years to play, and it's intended to be the African campaign of World War II.
Oh.
Yeah, and every player is supposed to like take control of an army, and like every day is supposed to be an actual day. Like, dude, that doesn't even sound fun. Like, that just sounds like work.
It'd be great if you were in a retirement home.
Oh yeah, no, that's your life at that point. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much like Risk, man. Risk games can go on forever and ever.
Yeah.
Still never played Risk.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
I used to play Risk in Warcraft 3, dude.
Oh man, Risk. Those were some fun games. Didn't I talk about this on one episode? How at DLG Con I wanted to start a Risk game like at the very beginning, and then we could kind of like play sporadically.
Passively play. Yeah, you remember?
Yeah, dude. We should get it going. Risk. DLG
How many players
Con
can you play with?
A lot. I don't know.
Really?
I think you can play up to 16. Depending on the version you're playing, you can play up to 16.
Damn.
2 to 6 players is what they recommend.
Wrong again, Nicholas.
Recommend. No, there's bigger versions. I know there is.
It probably is, yeah. But I think the standard Risk game is like up to 6 players, which is about what I remember because it's a world domination game, right? So you start out and you place your armies in different areas, and then everybody kind of like expands their borders, and then the conflict starts.
Is it essentially checkers?
No. There's like income, and there's like you buy armies and you invest in cities. Sniper tried to get us into like a online version of it, and it was kind of janky.
Yeah, classic Seinfeld episode where they're playing Risk, and because what happens with Risk is you don't finish it in one setting, so you have to leave it out. And the whole thing in the Seinfeld episode was that people kept trying to sneak in and cheat and move pieces when nobody was around. So Jerry had to like guard the Risk board. Good episode. Moving on. All right, that's it for highlights. Those are the games we played this week. Before we move on to listener questions, quick shout out to some subs. Beginning of the month, we got a few. Hinks UK, 63 months. He says, hey guys.
Damn, dude. Nice.
63 months. We appreciate it from our international listeners. King Tyron, 12 months, 1 whole year. He says, Monday stream. We are streaming on a Monday. It's Labor Day, so feels like a Sunday.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And Dredge Poet? Is that
Dredge
his first
Poet,
one?
10 months.
Thanks, dude.
We appreciate it,
man.
Is that Dredge the band?
It says Emilio do a plug here, so I'm going to do a plug. Go to our website. That's where everything is, dlgaming.net. From there, you can look at merch. You can go to our Patreon if you want to be cool on Discord and get your name shout out on the podcast. You can see pictures of us, learn about us, see pictures from old DLG cons. That's on our Discord. So you can get to our Discord from there. Take the plunge, man. It's a couple
Yeah,
clicks.
it's not gonna hurt. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we got a few listener questions here, but they are long. I need to increase
boy.
this font here. I don't know about our new layout. I got to make some adjustments. All right, we got a big one from Warconius. He says, remember when the podcast would have a cast member leave about every 6 to 12 months? Ray, Chi, Chad, and Minnie. R.I.P. I mean, they didn't die, dude.
They didn't die. That's kind of fucked up, dude. Don't say that.
Do you think it's time? Canada is overrepresented on the podcast. We are a small, humble country. Bring in an Aussie, what's Rubbernuts up to? Or a German, Das Good. In other words, anyone else besides Sniper. The Alberta energy is too toxic. It's messing with the West Coast vibe of the podcast.
It is all West Coast, right? Well, Nick is.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm from the
Coast
West
adjacent.
Coast.
Doesn't count. No, we got a lot of time schedules that we got to sync up, and then Days is just kind of all over the place. Who knows where she's at?
That's true. She goes wherever the wind takes her.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it 6 to 12 months is. I think they lasted longer than that.
Yeah. At
Chad was
least a year,
on for a few
everybody, right?
years. Chi was on for a long time. Ray, yeah, I want to say everybody was on for like a few years, maybe, which
Yeah.
is actually pretty good retention when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, they realize they're never going to get paid, and they just leave. Is what happens.
Yeah,
No one ever goes, I joined DLG for the money.
yeah. There was an old South Park episode where, like, I think it was the one where Kenny actually died, the season where he actually died, and then they were trying out all the new friends as their fourth. It was a few good episodes. That's always what I think of when we're trying to find another person.
Sniper, it's funny. I think that I always make jokes that Sniper's going for the long con. Like at first he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just make some thumbnails for you guys and stuff or whatever," and then every year he talks more and more and more. Now he gets his own segments and he's doing his own bits, and I'm like, "Oh, he's just gonna take over the whole." He holds all the passwords to everything, so I think one day I'm just not gonna be able to log into this thing. He's just
nothing's
do
gonna
a
fucking
solo
work.
cast.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. Sneaky Canadian.
He could be a Canadian spy.
Could be.
Yep. All right, Warconius has another question. If you had to rank all the things you love in this world, where would PC gaming rank? Top 10? Now that it's ranked, does it take up a disproportionate amount of your time and money, or have you found an equilibrium?
It is very high, to the point where like it. There's no equilibrium because I don't have enough time. That's one thing that's wrong with PC gaming. There's no limit. It's not like fishing. You can go fishing, you get a fish, and then you go home, or maybe you'll do a second day of fishing. But that's pretty much it. If you leave me in front of my computer unattended, I will go until I have to fall asleep. And I'll get right back up and do it again. There's no limit to how much I can do it, and that's a problem, unfortunately. And then also, if I'm like, I have 2 hours to play, I have such a hard time just sitting down and getting started. Always like paralysis through analysis, like what should I play, blah, blah, blah. Then I end up watching YouTube videos about the games instead a lot of the time. But yeah, it's very, very high, I would say. It's my go-to, to the point where on my birthday, all I want to do is game with my friends. When JP has his birthday, that's all he wants to do. When Chad has his birthday, that's what we did on his birthday. That's what we're doing on our birthday. So that's pretty much top rank for entertainment, at least.
Yeah. What about you, Bobby?
It goes back and forth.
I'll take it or leave it.
No. I mean, sometimes like I'm really getting back into watching movies now, but I will say that like PC gaming is definitely like, it's the number one de-stressor for me. When I start playing games, like I completely forget about whatever else is going on, which can be a good and a bad thing. But it's extremely useful in that sense for me. And I don't think that'll ever change. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to find anything else that just like completely takes my mind off of whatever else is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question is like, is it in your top 10 though, right? You both say yes. Of things you love the most in the world.
Yeah, for me, for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
10 is a lot. When you think of 10,
it depends on how you break it down,
because I
man.
like
'Cause
six
do you
things.
list each family member individually, or you just say family?
no, you just say family.
Okay. Really? Because I feel like there's a hierarchy. Like, I don't know. Some
Well,
family members
here-
not as important as others.
This is what I would say, right? I would say family, right? And then you would say spouse. Am I wrong? Because you definitely
Okay.
love your spouse more than you love your fucking family. Because you don't fuck your family, and I hate to tell you that.
Well, I mean,
Some people listen.
is that what love
Some
is?
people
Is
do.
it-
All right.
is it love?
But
Stop
what
trying to
I'm
overanalyze this
saying
thing.
is, and especially if your spouse is your best friend, let's be honest here, you love your spouse more than your family. Usually, unless you're trapped in a hateful relationship, then you hate your fucking life. But what I'm saying is, you don't just bundle family. You don't include your spouse in that. Now you have your kids. Your kids are not your family.
Also
Your kids
family.
are your fucking kids. So that's 3 spots right there that you got. Right? Family's number 5 for me. All right.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. It goes like wife and kid almost tied for first. Food number 3. Can't live without food. Probably 4. Now family's probably number 4 actually. Now 3 is family. 4 is probably food, and then 5 is is probably PC gaming and hobbies. And then
All right.
that's like top 5. If you want to get nitpicky and get to 10, I can break shit down. But if you're gonna,
And your
if you're gonna
list is
break down top
solely
5
based on like how much you have sexual relations with something.
Yeah, I'm fucking my models all the time, dude. That's why they're the top 5. No, but it all. What if you fucking PC? Thanks, Dread Poet. No, it's what I'm saying is that I think it's definitely my top 10 as far as like how much time I give it, and if it's proportional to how much I love it. My problem, and Leslie knows this, and it's almost the same problem as Emilio, is that you can put me in front of the computer and I can be in front of it for 20 fucking hours a day.
Yeah.
I'll get up to go eat something. I'll get up to go take a shit or piss, and that's it. But the problem is that I know what I want to play. I know what I want to play before I even start playing. I don't have that problem like Emilio. My problem is that when I want to play something, I want to play it for 4 hours. I want to play it for 3 hours. I don't want to play something for 1 or 2 hours. I can't do that shit. If I'm going to play Baldur's Gate, I want to play for 3, 4, 5 hours. And that's why I can't play like a game like Call of Duty anymore, or like anything like that, because it's like, oh, I don't want to play an hour-long game. If I play Tarkov, I'm going to play for 3 hours. I'm going to get shit done. And so that's my problem, is that I want longer sessions. And especially now that I'm like school's in order, those sessions are getting shorter. So I'm obviously changing and things are happening, but PC gaming will always be in the top 10, or just gaming in general, because I play on my PS5 and Switch as well. Like, we're rediscovering Animal Crossing in this house. My daughter loves catching fish and
That's awesome.
sea life. So, yeah, that's my answer.
All right.
Nice and concise.
Yep. Last question from Morconius. Anyone excited to dive back into Cyberpunk 2.0 changes and the DLC are looking good?
It's even more exciting for me because I haven't really played it. So I'm going to play its best version the first time I play it. I think that's, I played for 2 hours, but that was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for sure. This is cool for me.
I don't know if I'm that excited about it. So I talked months ago about how I tried to get back into Cyberpunk, and I was immediately greeted with like a 3-4 minute cutscene with a whole bunch of story, and I was lost because I had picked up on a save that had recently, and all my talents were reset, and it was just like too much. So I just stopped playing again. So I think I would either need to start from the beginning, but still at the same time, I just feel like there's too much story in that game for me to really enjoy it. I like the open world, I like the mechanics, but everybody just talks too much in the future, I guess. That's the problem.
I wonder if there's like they're gonna put in like a free roam mode or adventure mode or something.
I mean, after the first 3 hours, it essentially is free roam mode. But that's the thing; it's like a 3 hour entry time, right?
Yeah.
So.
But then you also have it.
Well,
I would
the main
imagine.
quest line,
Yep.
I think they hit you pretty hard with the cutscenes and the story still. But the
Yeah, they
side
do,
quest, maybe
actually.
not so much.
And you have to get through the story to unlock different parts of the city, I would imagine, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, actually. And what sucks is that when you do some of the, I think they fixed a bunch of that though with the 2.0 because they said that they fixed a bunch of stuff where it's like you complete this mission, it cuts off a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. I think that's one thing that I'll be happy at least because I played 1.0 and I played it for 6 hours, 7 hours. So I'll be happy to see the difference. I would see how you would be upset, Bobby, if you played and came back and everything was reset and everything was so changed. You're like, what the fuck is this? I would have to play.
Well,
from a
they're
fresh
doing that
start.
again with 2.0. They're overhauling the skill tree. There's new systems for what is it? Cyberware, police, vehicle combat and loot. New radio stations. Yeah. So I mean,
Do we
they're
know about
changing
the,
it. I
what
heard
the
there was an
DLC is
issue with
about?
the saves. The DLC I'm not familiar with. I'm assuming it's just more like side quests and characters. But I think there was an issue with saves too, and I can't remember where I read that, but that might be something to be concerned about.
I would be excited a little bit more if they had a demo for the DLC. Maybe like let you do the first big mission for it for free. Only because I don't want to sink that much money into it. But we'll see.
How much is it?
I think it's $25, isn't it? Let me check.
We're essentially paying $25 to fix our game completely.
I mean,
Well,
but it's already
there's the
fixed.
there's the 2.0
it's
release,
separate.
then there's the DLC.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Phantom Liberty's $30.
Okay.
So it's like, I know I like the game, right? I like cyberpunk aesthetic. I like the cyberpunk world. I got really invested in the story, and I played a lot of it. The problem is that getting hamstrung and having to start back all over, right? So we'll see how that is with the new story. We'll see how it is with everything being even more fun than it was before. So.
Well, I mean, Amelia said some of the Witcher DLC was like some of the best content, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood and Wine is like considered one of the greatest DLCs of video game history.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so. It's probably the best DLC I've ever played. Maybe, I mean, the Binding of Isaac ones are pretty sweet too.
Well, yeah, no, Repentance. The last one is considered is it doesn't add much, but it ties everything together, and it finishes the game, which is nice. And it was unexpected.
Yeah.
All right. Last question from Brennan47. Recently, you guys answered a question about your favorite mech games. Bobby mentioned he had never had one memorable enough to call a favorite. And I have a series that I believe isn't well known, but maybe Bobby will like. It's from the mid-90s and boasts graphics best comparable to Dark Forces 2. Due to its age, I figure if any one of you will like it, it's potentially Bobby or Sniper. It's called Heavy Gear and Heavy Gear 2, developed by DreamPod 9, Canadian developer. It has that true simulator mech piloting feel with a good balance of combat and speed, also live action cutscenes. I have never heard of that
This
game.
this is rough looking. You'd have to talk to Bobby for quite some time for him to play this, and he probably will say no. If you play this looks like Dark Forces 2.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty old school. I mean, if the gameplay is there are still some games that are just, even though they look like crap and they're super old and they're hard to get running, they still hold up so well. Like Lord of the Realms 2, I'll still go play that game over so many newer ones. So
You know,
GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10.
All right. We'll
Might
run
be
it by.
fun.
Let's see. Maybe it's on GOG or something, but yeah, looks like you're flying around in space in some of these missions.
Bobby, did you ever play the Return of the King video game?
I don't think it was Return of the King, no. I played one of those. Is it the hack and slash multiplayer?
Well, there was three hack and slash ones. The Return of the King, that video game is considered the best one. You can level up your characters, you can level up their abilities, all that shit. The box had a very unique box art. Like it had Aragorn on the front where he's wearing the king armor.
I don't think I played that one. I played one of them. 2003.
If you ever want to play old ass games that still hold up to this day as far as gameplay wise, this one definitely does.
This looks like the one I played, but I want to say it was the second movie it was based off of, the one that I played, but it looks similar.
These were on PlayStation, Nick?
PlayStation, Xbox, yeah.
Oh, so they weren't on PC? Then this is not.
No, there was a PC. There was a
Okay.
PC version. Yeah, it's
The graphics
$51
aren't
if
that
you
bad.
still want to buy. If you want to buy it in a box right now, it's $51.
Wow.
But you can go to oldgamedownloads.com and download it for free with the fixes.
Oh, is it like not? Is there like no copyright on it? It's like abandonware. You can just
I
download
believe
it.
so. Yeah, it's 20
It
years
doesn't
old.
look bad, dude. I'm looking at like it says Return of the King on PC is amazing, one of the best Lord of the Ring games ever, no doubt.
Dude, it was so fun. I'm telling you right now, it's one of the best.
Well, Heavy Gear 2 is on my.
No?
Say that you guys spoke at the same exact time. Would you say, Bobby? First?
Oh, is the Battle of Helm's Deep in this one?
I don't remember, to be honest. What did you say, Bobby?
I was saying Heavy Gear 2 is on myabandonware.com, so you can get
boom.
that game for free.
Hell
Download
yeah,
it.
dude. Download both.
Yeah, get both, dude. If they're both on there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that raises a good question. What's everyone playing next week?
Well, I haven't played video games in fucking 2 weeks, so I don't know. I'll just throw something out there, and it'll probably be a lie. I haven't bought anything, so that's good. Yeah, probably Baldur's Gate. I mean, I played a little bit of Broforce, and I played a little bit of Remnant, but nothing new there.
What about you, Bobby?
I'm still looking at that Dwarves game. $12 on Steam. Honor, Loot, and something. I can't remember the full title, but I don't know. I may check that out this week. I've also really I want to beat Doom 3 because I've never beaten that game before, and I've played it like I know this comes up like every.
We started this podcast.
It
Dude.
comes up like every year, at least once a year. I'm just like, I think I'm going to play Doom 3 and finally beat it this time. And then I get like 3 levels in, like, nah. But I don't know. That probably won't happen, honestly. But I don't know. I'll figure something out. I have no plans. Nick?
You can play Ziggurat 2 off of my account, Bobby. That's a good one.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at stuff on my list. And then
Trine
Warconius
4.
bought me Inkbound. I did not give that enough credit or time, so I got to give that some more time too. You guys playing tonight?
Maybe. I don't know. I got homework to do, so we'll see. You said you would be on last night, but you betrayed us, and we were waiting for you on.
Yeah, I know.
Phasmophobia
I'm not
for
gonna.
40
I'm
minutes,
not
piece of shit.
gonna. Not even gonna say. I'm gonna try. If
And
I
we
see you
didn't-
online, I'm gonna.
Well, don't even ask the question then.
We didn't even talk about us playing Phasmophobia, but we should talk about how
We'll
that
keep
went
that-
next episode.
We'll talk
Yeah, I
about
was
that
surprised
next
you guys
week.
didn't put it on there.
Yeah.
All right,
I will
guys.
be playing more
Speaking
Phasmophobia.
for Bobby, Nick, nobody else, and myself, fucking Trine titties. Bye.
Guess you already done.